Good evening, welcome to Flux. Axiom Flux News. Today's date is the 14th of February 2015. And I'm here with Dom, PJ, and Andy Stab, myself. So anyway, we're going to kick you off with a bit of fracking news. Despite ban pledge, UK government is to allow fracking beneath national parks. I said they weren't going to do it, but they've changed their mind. The government has reversed its decision to accept new fracking restrictions, announcing that fracking will be allowed to take place beneath national parks and areas of outstanding natural beauty. Ministers have been accused of watering down their commitment to ban controversial shale gas exploration in protected areas. The Independent reports energy companies will not be allowed to base their fracking operations on the ground within the protected zones, but instead will be able to station their drilling rigs just outside and then drill horizontally underneath them. Sneaky, eh? Preventing fracking beneath such areas would not be practical and would unduly constrain fracking firms. Amber Rudd, the Energy Minister, said. Fracking typically involves drilling more than a mile down and then horizontally, potentially for more than a mile and a half. My word. Labour warned the change could allow protected areas to become surrounded on all sides by fracking operations. On January 26, ministers saw a rebellion over fracking by agreeing to a Labour amendment introducing new red tape on shale gas companies. And introducing, drop me mouse. And introducing a ban on fracking within or under protected areas. MS Rudd told MPs at the time, "We have agreed an outright ban on fracking in national parks, sites of special scientific interest and areas of outstanding natural beauty." But on Wednesday night, she said, there is a strong case that sites such as the World Heritage Sites and the Norfolk Broads should be protected from fracking taking place under them. In other cases, that would not be sensible. Certainly not. For example, in the case of areas of outstanding natural beauty and national parks, given their size and dispersion, it might not be practical to guarantee that fracking will not take place under them in all cases without unduly constraining the industry. Precise details of the policy will be drawn up in a secondary legislation, she said. Well, there you go. Lies again, lies. You know, we won't be fracking these areas that, these beautiful spots. Won't be spoiling the views, but we're going to surround them in fracking rigs and destroy the roads in and out of these places with thousands of great big lorries 24/7 from as long as
destroy the roads. They'll be creating roads.
Well, yeah, destroying whatever that's left the roads now. Well, putting the potholes in
destroying the paths, the public footways, and creating unwanted roads.
Yeah, well, there you go, PJ. They said they weren't going to do it, and they're going to do it. So, there you go. It's a typical from this unmandated government. They haven't got social contract. None of these places have got social contracts. So remember, folks, get out there and do your bit.
So what are they looking for? You're fracking, and are they looking for oil?
Mostly gas. It depends.
Gas, sorry.
Gasification.
Yeah, but they are fracking oil as well. It's mostly up north, I think, the oil. Down the south. So
how much gas do they think they can get in, like, a square mile?
Oh, good knows. They reckon the shale is absolutely crammed full of gas, pockets of gas and all this business. But I really don't think it's got anything to do with gas. Personally, I think it's to do with other things. It's to be able to. It's about several things. One of them is a Ponzi scheme, and that's happening in the United States at the moment, where you can see all these energy companies. They're reduced to, most of them, junk bonds now. They're pretty poor because what they've done. Yeah, what they've done was all the bankers like JP Morgan and that who bought these bonds and put them on the market and flogged them all off to the people and said, "Those 100 years of gas and oil, get these bonds." And well, they just pumped it up, pump and dump they call it.
I've got enough.
We're going to lower bills, gas bills, so I'll check on mine, see if it does lower it when they do start fracking.
No, they're not even promising that. They're even actually saying it won't even reduce the bill.
Oh, it won't reduce the bill.
No, it's a load of rubbish.
There's several reasons. One is for Ponzi scheme on the financial stock market with shares in energy companies. The other thing is a bit more sinister, but we'll go into that another time. It's to do with water, because all these people who had these shares, who pumped them, then dumped them like the banks, they are now buying up all the water companies. So you can put 2 and 2 together and certainly make 4, not 5.
Well, I've got an article which sort of touches on what you're discussing with the national parks, so do look out for that article when it comes back turn.
Okay, well, I'll leave that one for the moment. It's food for thought, and we'll be returning to this quite a lot this year and certainly next year. So moving on, we've got this thing here. Her name is Christine Lagarde. She's head of the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Anyway, Christine Lagarde, Ukraine to get $40 billion, including $17.5 billion from IMF. Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, Christine Lagarde, issued a statement from Belgium saying that Ukraine is set to receive about $40 billion, £26.2 billion in funding over the next 4 years, nearly half of which will come from the IMF. Yahoo News reports the ex-Soviet Republic is on the brink of bankruptcy after a year of political upheaval and war, and was hoping to clinch a deal with the IMF to unlock the wider financial package. Lagarde told reporters that the IMF team working in Kiev had reached an agreement with the Ukraine government on a new economic program of about $17.5 billion coming from the IMF and additional resources from the international community. From these various sources taken together, a total financial package of around $40 billion is estimated over the 4-year period, she said. The IMF staff-level agreement, which still needs to be approved by the IMF's board, came after Ukraine's government showed a determination to reform like we have never seen, Lagarde said. Ukraine has agreed to front-load reforms including energy tariffs increases, bank restructuring, governance reform of state-owned enterprises, and anti-corruption agenda, she added. Anti-corruption? Leaders of Ukraine, Russia, Germany and France returned to the negotiating room in Minsk on Thursday as a document seen by Reuters suggests the sides may agree to end fighting in eastern Ukraine with a ceasefire starting on February the 14th. And now, St. Valentine's Day. The main risk, of course, relates to the geopolitical developments that may affect market and investment confidence, Lagarde said. May affect market and investor confidence. See, that's what it's all about. See, guys, that's what it's all about. It's nothing to do with helping Ukraine or whatever. She is one. I don't know. Just look at that face. Anyway, the IMF gives these loans out to these mostly African countries, shanghais them up to loans that they can't pay back, and then move in on all their utilities and wealth and infrastructure and take it over. and that's what they're going to do to Ukraine, or try to. Well, I think Mr. Putin's probably wise to this, of course he is. So basically, so when Putin says, no, that's enough now playing, I'm not playing anymore, they're turning and say, well, Ukraine belongs to us now, and it's now going to be a member of NATO, and we're not going to stand for it, so look out. So that's when the proverbial will hit the fan, when the Ukraine won't be able to pay back the loan from the IMF. No countries pay back IMF loans. They end up surrendering all their businesses or whatever, their utilities, infrastructure, like Greece, etc. So there we go. And like Ireland with the Troika loans and all the rest of it. So it's just a carrying on silly old thing it's not silly, but it's just the same old from the IMF and the in cahoots with the Federal Reserve and the military-industrial complex and all the rest of it, destabilisation of the Ukraine, etc., etc. Anything to add to that, PJ and Dom, before I move on to my last final quarter two, because they sort of link together?
Not really, not unless you're thinking about taking a screenshot for your desktop screen.
I'm going to get rid of that woman's face. My way. Right, here it is. Here, it's not very big headline, but I'll say US stocks reach record as rebounding oil lifts energy stocks. February the 13th. Well, that means that they've gone to record highs, the stock market has. New York AP stocks rose to record levels on Friday as the price of oil jumped again, giving a lift to energy stocks. A slight gain for the market was enough to push the Standard & Poor's 500 index to a record intraday high, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average back above 18,000. Ridiculous. CBS gained after reporting earnings that exceeded analysts' expectations. The media company got a boost from better advertising revenue. Congra, a food company whose brands include Swiss Miss, Hot Chocolate Mix and Slim Jim beef jerky, slumped after the company cut its earnings outlook for the year, blaming the impact of a higher dollar among other things. European stocks climbed after Greece and its European creditors said they were willing to compromise to help Athens with its debts, while new data showed improvement in the Eurozone economy. It goes on to say here, this is doing better, we're doing better. Well, there's everything is hunky-dory. It couldn't be better. Record highs. Keeping score, the Standard & Poor's 500 index rose from 0.2 to 2,092 as 11 a.m. Index rose as high as 2,093.82, surpassing its intraday high of 209,355. So it's a record. It's never been this high. Things haven't been so good. It really is spiffing, especially for the major CEOs of these companies with the shares that they've just sold and bought back themselves, increasing their value. There's a little clue how the Ponzi scheme comes about. Basically, all you do, it's like if you've got a valuable painting, you take it to Sotheby's, you put it on auction, and you put it up for, it cost you 5 million, you put it up for 12 million. You buy the painting back, you've just made £7 million, because now your painting is worth 12 million, and it's not cost you a penny, because basically you bought it back yourself with your own money, or a little bit of commission to Sotheby's, but I'm sure they can work something out between them. So that's how the stock market works. They sell their stocks and they buy them back, but driving up the price and, of course, the value of their own stocks. Rather simple Ponzi scheme, don't you think? Anyway, moving on. This is all Swiss earnings. Everything's up. Everything's hunky-dory. Life hasn't been better. Record highs.
Do we get to party now?
What did you have for lunch?
Beef jerky.
Right, moving on. So I've gone here. We're just finished off. Go from that in there. This is the world debt clock. Yeah. Right. This is how much 61,400,000,000,500. I can't even say it. There's so much. Now I locked on that's over 61 trillion. These are the Western government. This is what the governments own. This isn't the total debt, by the way. 61 trillion is not the private debt and everybody's debts, household debts, mortgages. That number there is just government debt. Okay, servicing their GDP, which they can't do. Right. What this is saying is right. This figure here says interest accrued. It's going to flash back in a minute. I came on here about 3 hours ago, right, and it starts from 0. In 3 hours, the world's national debt, government debt, right, in 3 hours, right, it's gone up by this amount. You've got 1, 2.
Not really, Andy. It's more than that. Really, it's 4 hours.
Oh, well, I do beg your pardon.
4 hours, yeah, 233, yeah, nearly 4 hours.
4 hours, but look, it's gone up. What's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 noughts and 1?
It's what they do these days. Just keep sticking notes on.
Is it $100 billion? I think it is, isn't it? It's 100 billion in 3 hours on the interest on that money, supposedly money. On 3 hours, the debt has gone up 100 billion. I might have that wrong. Please comment and put it in, right? And
yeah, that's right. That's billion.
Yeah, that's 100 billion, isn't it? It's gone up in 4 hours, 100 billion. So
is that all welfare state? How much welfare state costs is it a year?
100 billion. Our GDP, our gross GDP is probably around about that. The whole country. Yeah? That's the government, you know, whatever they supposedly get from taxes, right? The actual debt has grown in 4 hours by that amount, right? Oh, it's the world debt. But anyway, just moving down, look at these countries. This is all the debt they've got. Australia, 1,483,372,000,000. Well, that's Australia. It's meant to be a wealthy country, but this is the debt, right?
Well, they're saying we're going to get below Nigeria by 2050.
In GDP, what entire nation's worth?
That's the grand, yeah, that's right. Gross domestic product, right?
Yeah, what they produce. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how much they're in debt. Each of these countries are in debt. Now, if we scroll down here, we can go for them all. They'll all be on there. Every one of them in trillions. Look at us. 2,840,890,000,000. I guess that's US dollars. But that's what the government owes. That's not everybody else. That's not private. That's not corporate debt. That's
so
not
about £1.5 trillion.
Yeah.
It's about half it if it's dollars. It's about half. So you half it.
Well, actually, it's nearer to 2 trillion. It's over £2 trillion because I checked the other.
It's around 2 trillion, yeah.
United States, 17,294,000,000,000. Look, but actually, I scrolled here and I looked and
I was surprised with population UK. It says 64 million. I thought there were a lot more than that.
No. Anyway, I scrolled and I thought it's not on here. Name me the country.
What's Pakistan? Just look up Pakistan. I think it's a bit further down.
I've seen Swiss on there. Switzerland's on.
Yeah, Switzerland's on there.
Pakistan,
yeah.
And the only one that's not on would be Greece, would it?
No, that's on there.
Is it?
Yeah. Come on, PJ.
Ireland?
No, because that's well on there. Come on, you know what's not on there.
Oh, Iceland.
Absolutely, because it doesn't have any debt. And we know why, don't we? Because the Icelandic people grew a pair of bollocks.
And got the pots and pans out.
Yeah, and got rid of their government and weren't going back to work no matter what. So that if anybody's cluing in, if you want to get rid of your country's debt, all you got to do is turn around and say, I'm not going to work anymore.
Just walk away.
Yeah, well, there you go. But anyway, I just thought, look, You know, you've got record stock market figures, but you've got record exponentially rising debt. They just print the money off, give it to the fat cats. They sell their stock and buy it back again. All that printed money goes into their pockets. You or anybody who has to go and work with their hands for a living won't see a single penny of that money from the banks. Oh, by the way, your tax goes in their offshore accounts. It never goes back to the Treasury. You know why? Because the Treasury can't service 8% of their debt every year. So you tell me you think your tax is going back to the government that pays for your service. Dream on. Right, that's the end of my stuff.
Top stuff, Andy. Over to you, Don, when you're ready.
Yeah, my first article is on Kenneth Noye. Fury over double killer Kenneth Noye's parole bid. This is a picture of Kenneth Noye. Double killer Kenneth Noye could be freed after getting a parole hearing, sparking anger from the parents of one of his young victims. Noye, 67, was jailed for life in 2000 for the murder of electrician Stephen Cameron, 21, in a road rage attack. The career criminal had earlier stabbed to death an undercover officer outside his Tudor mansion after the £26 million Brinks Matt Bullion East, who successfully pleaded self-defence. Report: Kenneth Noye could kill again, says detective who captured him. The M25 road rage killer, Kenneth Noye, could be released within months after being granted a parole board hearing. Noye, who is now 67, was jailed in 2000, 4 years after stabbing Stephen Cameron to death on a slip road at Swanley. The man who led the manhunt for Noye believes he could kill again if released, and Stephen Cameron's family said Noye should never be freed because of his lack of remorse for his crime. John Ryle, as I report, with the reaction from Stephen's parents, retired detective Nick Biddis, and criminal justice expert Harry Fletcher. This is a picture of, well, it's actually a video, but I can't play it because I got to speak yet. So it's a picture of Kenneth Noye getting led down to prison after his sentence for killing Stephen Cameron. That's the way of being led there. He smiles, you can see him smile. Life should mean life, the notorious killer Kenneth Noye. The parents of Stephen Cameron, who was brutally murdered in a road rage attack, have said they are outraged at the prospects of their son's killer walking free. Kenneth Noye was sentenced to life for the murder 19 years ago, but is now being granted a parole hearing. Our son hasn't got to life. Noye has taken away the most precious thing in our life and we'll never get over it. Cameron's mother, Tony, told RTV News. This is the parents of Stephen Cameron. I don't know if you can hear that. Is that quite loud, Paul? Can you hear it? Or?
No, I can't work out what's being said. Yeah, I can see it though.
Well, the parole board is to consider if Noye is dangerous enough to the public. The parole board has confirmed it will consider the case against Kenneth Noye after it was referred by the Secretary of State. The independent body said it was convinced Noye does not pose a danger to the public before he could be considered for release. This is updated Kent Police at Kenneth Noye, what it looks like now. They will consider a range of reports from prison and parole staff before making a decision, and that will be final. Noye was convicted in 2000 of murdering Stephen Cameron at M25 Slip Road at Swanley, Kent, following a road rage incident. So that's his fingerprint there.
Who's referred it? Would that be Theresa May?
Yeah, Theresa May will have, yeah. No, I don't think Theresa May's got involved yet. I don't know, but she probably.
It just said the secretary. I weren't sure if it said the Home Secretary or what.
No, referred by the Secretary of State. No, it's not Theresa May now.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's his fingerprint. So yeah. So what do you think, Paul? Do you think he served his time and should be released? And what do you think? He's still a danger. He has gangster links and mafia links.
Yeah, but so what was he convicted for? Murder?
Yeah, for killing Stephen Cameron, murder, yeah. In jail for life in 2000.
He was jailed for life in 2000, and it's 2015. That's 15 years. Life is not 15 years, is it? Unless we all die when we're 15. If that's the case, we wouldn't be having this conversation now.
Yeah, that's what it tends to be. Life, 15 years, yeah, you can come out.
That's ridiculous. Don't call it life.
Yeah, it's not like, that's what I agree.
This is the stupidity of the legal system.
I think it's 22, 24 years life.
How can it be, PJ?
Well, that's what they say.
Well, hang on a minute. I've only lived 22 years then. Am I 22 years of age? I don't think so. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's due for his pension next year when he comes out.
Well, no. If the guy was convicted for murder and it's life, then he should be in for life. That's it. Everybody says it. It's quite simple, really. That's it. There's no parole.
He killed a police officer as well, but he got off for it by self-defense. So obviously, killed him in his back garden, his own back garden, and killed his subject police officer. But he got off with it, so he will claim his self-defense.
It's totally insane. There's no justice is not part of the legal system. It never has been. I don't think. How can you call that justice for the parents of the fellow who got murdered? And no, of course he shouldn't be let out. If he got life in it, he was convicted for murder. Then he's not just not paid his tax for the year, for crying out loud. Or whatever it did, I don't know. I really don't. No, of course he shouldn't be let free, Dom. I'll say no more. I don't think so.
Well, keep an update on this story in the coming months. What happens? Moving on. Pope Francis, not having children is selfish. Life regenerates and it acquires energy when it multiplies, Pontiff tells the audience in St. Peter's Square. This is Pope Francis, who gives a thumbs up at pilgrims in Rome. Pope Francis has chided couples who choose not to have children, saying the decision is a selfish act. The statement, made in his general audience in St. Peter's Square, will be seen as especially controversial in Italy, which has recorded a steady drop in its birth rate for decades. A society with a greedy generation that doesn't want to surround itself with children, that considers them above all worrisome, a weight, a risk, is a depressed society, the Pope said. The choice to not have children is selfish. Life rejuvenates and acquires energy when it multiplies. It is enriched, not impoverished. The address was focused primarily on the joy of children, their role in society. The Pope recalled a childhood memory when his mother was asked which of her 5 children was her favourite. She would say, I have 5 children like I have 5 fingers. If they beat one of my fingers, all 5 hurt. All of my children are mine, but each one is different, he said. You love your child because he is your child, not because he is beautiful, healthy and good, not because he thinks like me or embodies my desires. A child is a child, and I created my husband, not destined for him. He said there was a strong correlation between a society's level of hope and its intergenerational harmony. The remarks echoed his earlier comments on the topic of childlessness. Last year he warned against the level of culture of well-being that can come when a couple does not have children, has the money and freedom to take nice holidays and buy a second home in the countryside. It might be better, more comfortable to have a dog, 2 cats, and the love goes to the 2 cats and the dog, he said. Is this true or is this not? Have you seen it? Then in the end, this marriage comes to an old age in solitude, with the bitterness of loneliness. The joy of children makes their parents' hearts throb and reopens the future, he said. Children are not a problem of reproductive biology, or one of many ways to release oneself in life, let alone their parents' possession. Children are a gift. Do you understand? Children are a gift, he added. Last week, the Pontiff said that eating a child was an acceptable form of discipline, although it was important to maintain their dignity in the process. The Vatican later clarified the remark, saying the Pope did not endorse violence or cruelty against a child. So yeah, last week he's saying you can hit children, then he's backtracked on it. It's quite a controversial Pope, this one, isn't it? Pope Francis.
Oh yeah, he does get stuck in with debates and things.
Yeah.
He treated careful on the case on homosexuality, but he's got no problems with these, you know, people not having children.
Right, moving on. TV weatherman Fred Talbot guilty of indecently assaulting two boys. Former television weatherman Fred Talbot has been convicted by a jury at Manchester Mulhall Street Crown Court assaulting two teenage boys. He was cleared of 8 other accounts, so this is he's been found guilty. TV weatherman Fred Talbot has been exposed as an opportunist sex offender after he was found guilty of indecently assaulting two boys. Greater Manchester Police said that word. I can say it, but Judge Timothy Moore told Talbot sentencing should start today, bearing in mind his abuse of trust. The former teacher has been remanded in custody to his sentence on March 13th. So that's Fred Talbot here when he was a weatherman for TV. He was jumping over on his map, going to court. Yes, I'll be interested to see how many years he gets. This is him being questioned by police. Talbot is a prolific diary writer and dozens of books covering most of his life were recovered when police raided his home. A number of diary entries marked with asterisks were found alongside entries relating to the victims, a police spokesman said. On interview, he told police they referred to panic attacks, but later admitted it was a code denoting that sexual activity had taken place. So he is definitely guilty, by admission. Any thoughts on that? Do you remember him, Paul, when he was a weatherman?
Oh yeah, were it this morning?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember.
I can remember. I remember when he fell in. Well, I don't know if he did that on purpose, but
jumping around with his woolly jumpers on.
Yeah.
Just another one, isn't he? He's just another one to come out of the woodwork or drag out of the woodwork.
He assaulted when he was a teacher. He assaulted when he was a teacher as well.
There's tons of them in there. It's rife with them, isn't it? Oh,
yep,
no. Yeah, well, perhaps he should have stayed in the water and not come out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just another one.
For the last few weeks, there's some paedophiles coming out, isn't there?
Well, yeah, that's right. What did Rolf Harris get? Was it 6 years?
5,
yeah. Was it?
Yeah, and then he got dragged back in on some more charges.
Yeah, well, he's been questioned on further allegations of abuse. So he could get added time.
They've added some more onto the. Is it Stuart Hall bloke? Didn't they add some more onto him?
Yeah, Stuart Hall. Yeah, he's been sentenced. He was sentenced. I'm not sure if they added more. If he's been convicted of more offences.
I don't know, but yeah, just another one.
Yep. Finally from me, homeless man caught performing sex acts on a woman's corpse in a mortuary. This is quite a disgusting one. Called him Smith. Smith pleaded guilty to all charges. An homeless man was caught performing sex acts on a woman's corpse in a mortuary, police said. Dominica Smith, 26, was arrested and charged with stealing a bicycle from Bill Watson People's Funeral Service in Columbus, Georgia. The police said that during the investigation they found evidence the man had sexual contact with the body of a woman in the funeral home's mortuary. The investigation led us to believe he had a sexual act with the woman's body, said Captain Gordon Griswold. But why did he could not remember the last time there was a necrophilia charge in the area. This is extremely rare. Cedric Hill, funeral director at the Home, declined to discuss details. We look for the best protection and security for the families we have served in this community for 65 years. Smith pleaded guilty to all charges. So that's Just will they release who we actually did it to, which victim it was? To the families, will the family know? I'm not sure. But they probably will know, won't they, because the police are being involved. Well, that's finally from me anyway, so how about you, Paul?
Alright, Dom. Cheers for that. Yeah, just take mine over there. Hopefully you can see. Okay, moving on from the paedophiles and necrophilia onto the Jimmy Savile. But not really Jimmy Savile as such. It's the children's doctor jailed for 18 years for indecently assaulting girls at Jimmy Savile Hospital. Former children's doctor Michael Salmon is sentenced after he was found guilty last week of 9 counts of indecent assault and 2 of rape. So here he is, the retired doctor, 79, Michael Salmon. He arrives at Reading Crown Court for the start of his trial on child sex abuse charges. Former children's doctor convicted of sexually assaulting young girls at Stoke Mandeville Hospital during the 70s and 80s has been jailed for 18 years. He's now reached 80-year-old. Was also twice raping a 16-year-old patient at his home after she turned to him for help over a possible pregnancy. Father was found guilty at Reading Crown Court last week of 9 counts of indecent assault, 2 of rape against 6 girls aged 12 to 18. Short article on that one. Which brings me over to who are the Westminster paedophiles? Anonymous plans to expose suspects tonight. So hopefully we should be hearing something on this. I haven't got anything more apart from the article as shown, but you can also do your own little research into it. Mass vigilantes will march on the homes of alleged elite paedophiles, including senior Westminster figures, tonight in a protest Anonymous has called Operation Death Eaters. The hacktivist collective released a video on YouTube claiming to have identified paedophiles in positions of power and others involved in a nightmarish cover-up. The video, dubbed with an anonymous electronic voice, urges protesters to meet at 6 p.m. in locations near Westminster and elsewhere in the UK. The video says Operation Death Eaters has exposed a club that has existed for many years. A club of paedophiles that have been torturing and murdering children for their own joy and entertainment. On February 13th, we will march to the homes of some of those involved in this nightmarish cover-up. An anonymous member, using a false name, said, "This isn't a situation where we are looking to create mayhem. It's about giving the public information so we can confront these problems that go back decades. The stories that are coming out are the torture made of children with our trusted politicians, and that is unacceptable." Several tweets. The 2-minute 16 video, which I'm just about to play, providing I've got some audio for today.
Greetings world, we are Anonymous. A story is unfolding in the UK that is so sick and disturbing that it could give you nightmares. Operation Death Eaters has exposed a club that has existed for many years. A club of elite pedophiles that have been torturing and murdering children for their own joy and entertainment. These are people in positions of trust and authority, and they are raping and torturing children. Politicians, royals, media, religious figures, singers, actors, men and women. It seems that the long grotesque arm of this club has no bounds. To the people that do this, You think you are safe? You think you are untouchable and that we will not directly interrupt your lives? You are wrong. You are the stuff of nightmares. You are Death Eaters and you will be expelled as such. To Anonymous everywhere, we are calling for an evening of action. On Friday the 13th of February 2015 we will march to the homes of some of those involved in this nightmarish cover-up. Friday the 13th will see us become the nightmare on Elite Street. We will strike the same fear in the hearts of the Death Eaters as they strike into their victims. If you are willing to stand with us, then meet outside Liverpool Street Underground Station at 6 p.m. We are the voices of the children they have raped. We are the innocents that they have taken. We are those they have murdered to cover their actions. We are everyone and we are everywhere. Friday the 13th of February 2015. Expect us.
So there you go, that was yesterday's alleged meeting. Instead of anything more. This article finishes on saying politicians, royals, media, religious figures, singers, actors, men and women, it seems that the long, grotesque arm of this club has no bounds. And as it said in the audio, as you heard, you think you are safe, you think we will not directly interrupt your lives, you are wrong. You are the stuff of nightmares. Which brings me on to this one. In no particular order. We should beam Sir Cliff Richard into space, say alien hunting scientists. Scientists have concluded that we should beam Sir Cliff Richard into space, but don't worry, Sir Cliff fans, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence are proposing we beam his music at nearby star systems, not that we teleport Sir Cliff himself into the great beyond. SETI suggests the transmitting radio signals containing Sir Cliff's music might be the best way to signal other civilizations that we are here. Seth Shostak, the head of the alien hunting organization, suggested that ET might be bored if we transmit proofs of our scientific prowess and might enjoy unwinding to Sir Cliff instead. Shostak said, maybe they are interested in rock and roll, maybe they want Cliff Richard. Shostak also suggested that aliens might enjoy cricket. He said if they are clever, they might figure out something about cricket. A discussion on the next step, transmitting a hello message to the stars, takes place this week at the annual meeting of the American Association for the Advancement of Science in San Jose, California. Dr. Bacot from the SETI Institute in Mountain View, California said, we started the Earth Speaks project in 2009 because we wanted to expand the discussion beyond a handful of scientists that have been grappling with these issues. Should we beam Sir Cliff Richard into space? Yes or no, guys? What do you think?
That's yes.
What about you, Andy?
What, physically send him off the planet?
No, this is in relation to his music.
Oh, right, okay. Well, SETI, the organisation, wasn't that something to do with the late Carl Sagan?
I think we should put Gary Guts' music in space.
If it was, he'd probably be rolling in his grave, bless him. But what I'm saying is, how ridiculous, how absurd. That's all I've got to say about it, really.
So we're going for yes then, yeah?
Yes.
I'm outvoted 2-1 then, obviously.
Oh, well, I would actually go for no, but...
We'll put no as well.
No.
Confuse them.
Right, ready? 64% said yes.
Oh my God.
I think will.i.am had a bit of music put out there as well.
Oh.
So Cliff Richard looks like he'll be joining him. Okay, my next article is the Swiss embassy shelters wanted Azeri activist. Prominent Azeri rights activist wanted by authorities is holed up at the Swiss embassy in Baku. Azerbaijan's foreign ministry spokesman Hikmet Hassiaf said on Friday that Emin Husinov is wanted for illegal entrepreneurship and tax evasion since last August. A court ordered Yushinov's arrest, but he fled and is currently hiding at the Swiss embassy in Baku. Swiss has confirmed that the Azeri national has taken refuge at the European country's embassy in Baku, but has not revealed the identity of the individual. Swiss Federal Department for Foreign Affairs said Switzerland has granted the Azeri person authorization to stay at the embassy for humanitarian reasons. The FDFA said Switzerland has been negotiating with the Baku government to find a solution in the interests of Yusinov. He is a fierce critic of the Baku government. 35-year-old activist is the director of the Baku-based Institute for Reporters, Freedom and Safety, a media rights group. Many activists and independent journalists have been thrown behind bars in Azerbaijan since its independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. So there he is. The last but not least, I don't think. Oh, there's one more after. This is life under ISIS in Raqqa, the city where smoking a cigarette could see you publicly flogged, imprisoned, and even decapitated. This is an independent article on Friday the 13th. An independent, so I don't know how independent this article is, but it basically says residents of a city besieged by ISIS have described living under strict bans on alcohol and cigarettes, with anyone caught smoking publicly flogged, handed huge fines and even reportedly executed. The group enforces a strict interpretation of Islam in areas in Syria and Iraq under its self-declared caliphate. Some ultra-conservative versions of Sharia denounce the habit as harmful and therefore haram, forbidden. Raqqa in Syria is one of the group's biggest strongholds. So make your own judgments on this article, but take note that it is actually coming from independent, and I haven't been able to see this article on any others as yet. That's not to say that other mainstream are not reporting the same story. Yeah. I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that yourself, Andy or Dom.
Sharia law, isn't it? Supposedly this.
But what's the agenda for this?
I don't know. It's the logo, isn't it? Independent. Independent of what? That's what I want to know. Independent from what? You know.
Same, Andy. No idea. No idea. My final article for leaving the Flux news for today will be the Lake District woods and valleys up for sale for as little as £8,000. This is the article I was talking about when you were talking about fracking, Andy.
Oh yeah.
Well, bosses at cash-strapped authorities sell off stunning and majestic plots after government cuts. Some beautiful places, and they're ranging from 20,000 to 30,000, and as little as 8. Some of the Lake District woods and valleys have been put up for sale for as little as £8,000 after the cash-strapped National Parks puts its stunning and majestic sites on the market after government cuts. Among the beauty spots on offer is Mountain Lake Stickle Tarn at Great Langdale, which has been given a guide price between 20,000 to 30,000 and described to would-be buyers as iconic, simply majestic and stunning. The 7 sites up for sale by the Lake District National Park Authority also include Ewbarrow Woods at Longsdale, available for between 110,000 and 130,000, and a stretch of rocky shoreline at the Bleer Brows, Coniston Water, on sale with a guide price of £70,000 to £90,000. Since 2010, the authority has seen a 23% cut in its national park grant, and so is having to scale back its £13 million worth of assets. In 2010, it would receive a grant of £7.2 million, but this has now fallen by £1.56 million. That means a selling off of more than 100 acres of land, which would raise just under £500,000 if they all achieve their top guide price. No, the video, I don't know if it's going to play, but it says estate agents Michael C. Hodgson, based in Kendal, Cumbria, has been hired by the authority to handle the sales, and all of the plots are being sold by the formal tender with a closing date of March the 12th. Conditions of the sale mean that owners would not be allowed to impose any restrictions on public access and would have to fill in a questionnaire stating their intentions as aspirations for the future of woodland on their land. Chief Executive Richard Leaf is adamant access and maintenance will not be affected by the authority's strict planning regulations will still apply to the new owners. I think we've got the video playing after the long advertisement they've chucked in there. Show you some landscape there. Some more there. So who do you think's gonna buy this up? I mean, anybody who's wanting to look into this, then start with this guy here, Michael C.L. Hodgson. Well, it's estate agents. So yeah, look into that.
Who's selling this land?
The Lake District National Park.
Who's the Lake District National Park belong to?
Who does it supposedly or officially?
Well, who does?
I thought it was everybody's.
Exactly. So
No,
you know.
Not anymore. Look at that land at water there. Look, I'm gonna sell that off, and I ain't got £70,000 to £90,000. Have you, Andy?
What do you mean, 70,000 to 90,000 numbers that the government's?
Well, I ain't got any numbers to purchase that way, so.
It's just ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous because it's going to end up in some corporate pockets, offshore accounts somewhere, and.
Well, that's what I fear, Andy. I think this could be some grabbed up by the frackers, the mother frackers.
Of course.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's a possibility, in my opinion.
Of course.
I mean, some of the beautiful landscapes that we've still got left.
Yeah, well, that don't matter. You've got to get some money out of it. You've got to make some numbers, you know.
Look at that.
It's all about numbers. Oh no, sad isn't it, really? It belongs to everybody.
Yeah.
This is total nonsense. This corporate world is insane, madness.
Well, that's all I've got, Andy. That's my wrap up.
Okay, mate. Well, like you say, probably have a few fracking pads all the way over at Spec within 2 or 3 years' time. More than likely. Like I say, can't say for sure, but.
I think people should get behind this and look into it, because, I don't think this should be really allowed to happen. I don't think they should have the right to sell it off.
Of course they shouldn't. Of course they shouldn't.
It's down to the people to stand up and do something about it, because this is just not on.
Well,
not when you showed us the figures earlier of the, the amount of deficit and things. and now we're going to lose what you're seeing there. Yeah,
well, it's all one big Ponzi scheme. The whole game, as far as I'm concerned, the whole everything. It's just, yeah. they're going to buy back their homeland, sell it to their mates themselves, to their own fracking companies, or should we say their own fracking company.
Yeah.
Forget about this hogwash of all little different companies,
Yeah.
just like the utilities.
But I will say though, I know we've covered a lot today, and there's been a lot to do with the paedophilia and that. But to me, this is just as important.
Well,
Just as
basically,
important.
it comes down to people power.
Why are they putting all these other stories out to, you know, grab your attention? You're missing out on stuff like this.
Yeah, well, it's about people power. If people don't stand up and say, no, you've got no social contract, or and say, this is not, we're not. If it is going through, we're not just going to stand by and let it just go through as easy as that, because these are the national parks that, like I said earlier in that article, where now they're going to frack,
Yeah.
where they originally said, oh no, these are protected areas, we would, of course we wouldn't do such a thing, and now
take a good look at it, because it's not going to be that long now before this starts disappearing.
Do you know what, PJ? I would urge anybody to go and look at some aerial photography of what is involved when these fracking companies start.
Yeah.
You go and have a look at the aerial photography of the fracking pads that are everywhere.
Go and look at in Australia. I mean, that's just unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly.
And look at these. We've got 12th of March 2015 closing date. So keep your eyes on this, people.
Of course, we could be wrong. It could be just, but it smells a bit to me.
Yeah, same here. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us, and Dom, Andy, for your articles. We'll be back tomorrow. And if anybody does want to get involved in what we're doing, send us an email, and we will contact you in regards to that. But have we got any final comments before we go?
No, thanks very much, PJ and Dom. I'll see you tomorrow.
Anything from you, Dom?
Yes, I mean, yeah. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
All right, guys. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.